All right, Shalom.
Shalom.
We want to start out by giving all praise, honor, and glory to
Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem, Kakodash.
Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to all the Akim out there pushing the word of sincerity and the truth. It's the brothers here from Great Millstone, Atlanta, with another lesson. You'll see the the title of the lesson, but it's basically going into the earnest expectation of the creature waited for the redemption of the sons of the living power, pursuant to Romans the 8th chapter, which we'll go into. And as the status of the world, which me and the brothers was actually just dialoguing and discussing, this place is finished, man. You know, the world as you know it, not only Babylon the Great as we know as America, North, Central, and South America, the whole world from Canada to the African lands to the islands to the Asiatic lands, Europe, everything is in a state of mourning, from the people to the earth itself. And me and the brother Karatza, the brother right here, of course, we was going into this website, The World Counts, and we was just reading the statistics of how the conditions of the world is. And basically on the World Counts, they had this one thing where it said the number of Earths we need, and it said 1.7. The number was going. It was just like the U.S. debt clock. The numbers were rapidly spinning up. But it was a lot of numbers at the end of 1.7. So it's basically as the numbers increase, it's going to come to the point where we need 2 planet Earths. And it shouldn't be like that. As everybody knows, as people say, that everybody on the Earth can actually fit inside of the state of Texas. That's how, of course, large the state of Texas is, and that's basically how, how people are actually spread throughout the Earth. But constant mining of resources, constantly breaking down the earth, constantly putting plastic in the waterways, actually producing plastic, killing of animals, killing of people, poisoning of the air, the air follicles, which of course goes into poisoning of the people also. All these things are breaking down the planet Earth as we know it.
That's right.
So we're going to go into the scriptures and go to a few articles or go into an article or two, Lord willing.
This is Romans 8:19. It says, "For the earnest expectation of the creature waiteth for the manifestation of the Son of the Most High." Of the Most High.
Right, so it says the earnest expectation of the creature waited for the sons of the Most High. The sons of the Most High is Yasha. When you read during the time of Adam had everything periodically set, so to speak. The Most High put Adam on earth to have harmony on earth and to name the animals and to basically rest amongst the animals. You see, and Adam was known to actually name all living creatures. He had a specific way of conducting and dealing with the creations of the Lord. And at that time the world was known as Eden, Idan, paradise. Everything was in the spirit of pleasure. Animals weren't depressed to the state that they're at now. Fast forward in today's time, you see these different animals, whether you watch Animal Planet, or you watch nature shows, and you see these animals are done, man. They're sick. It's like I said, even when you're dealing with the plastic supply that's in the ocean, these animals consume a lot of plastic that's in the waterways, and they're dying from it.
Yeah.
You can watch certain videos on YouTube, and they might cut open a whale. They might cut open certain marine animals, and their stomachs are full of all kind of pollution. Now those animals can't cry out, and they're not screaming and raging like how a so-called human is able to, but their spirits are. All that toxic and all that bacteria or poison, and like I said, plastic and all these different materials that's not even degradable and it's not even supposed to be in your body, lodged within there. Those animals are feeling that pain, man.
Yeah, there's situations where, like the brother said, the animals beach themselves, which that's really their way of crying out. By them committing suicide. Like there was I can't remember how many dolphins, but it was a crazy amount of dolphins and really different kind of fish. Every now and then there's situations where there's just a whole bunch of fish that get washed up on the shore because they basically can't take it. They can't take the pollution anymore.
And the pH of the water is constantly fluctuating to the point where animals don't even like their environment, so to speak. The water the bodies of water, the ocean has a specific pH. It's supposed to have a certain amount of crabs in the ocean to keep the pH set. You see, because crabs, shrimp, lobster, those are known as crustaceans, and they play a critical role within the environment of the ocean. It helps it helps fish thrive. It helps whales live, dolphins, sharks, all these different animals. That's why it's known as the circle of life. And that's from a water or aquatic region. Same thing with the earth as we know it. You know, earthworms play a part in the earth. Yep. Bees, ants, all these different animals play a major part within the ecosystem, to the point where us as humans are able to thrive.
Yep.
You know, without certain animals and without certain species, there would be no us. That's why when the Lord actually established the earth in the 7,000 time span, he created the animals, and more than likely he created these different organisms to be created and planted on the earth before we were actually even created. Right. Because it wouldn't make sense for us to be created, then the animals after. The animals had to, you know, they have a way of tailoring and taking care of the earth and making sure the maintenance of the earth is set so that man can actually live and thrive in harmony with the planet Earth and with animals.
Right.
You got it.
John. This is verse 20. It says, "For the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but reason of him who have subjected the same in hope."
Yeah, and that's really the main point, but it's still dealing with the hope, because at the end of the day, this whole society is built upon vanity. You know, we represent the creature, and we went off, and it all goes back really to the curse of, you know, the curse that Adam had to endure by following the ways of really Eve that listened to the serpent. You know, and after that, death was planted into the earth, and you see death all around you. We're really in a place where there is no life. That's why David, he in the 23rd Psalm, he referred to the world as the valley of the shadow of death. You know, everything is dying. Everything, if it's not sick, if it's not dying, then it's in a status of dying, which is heavily sick. You know, the scripture says that death is better than a life of continual sickness. You know, when you see somebody, you know, like a brother's worked at a hospital, or you've seen certain shows or anything pertaining to getting the visualization of people in the hospitals, they be looking like they're dead.
Yeah, they do.
Somebody on in the hospital, they got to constantly get whether their diaper changed or they got a tube within their system.
Vegetable state.
Yeah, they're in a vegetable.
There's that saying. A lot of people, you know, take you out of your misery. You know, a lot of people, when they get in that state, they just want to get taken out of their misery, man. Same thing with the animals. You know, these animals, they're super depressed, man. And you can look around at any of these animals, man. They're not in their right state. You know, even a lot of these, because, you know, we mentioned the marine animals, but you also have animals that are taken out of their habitats, such as deer, all these land animals, because Esau is constantly building and expanding roads and developments. So these animals, they're taken out of their home. You know,
that article that with a website that we was looking at too said that it was only 26% of
wildlife.
It's wild forest. Only 26% of wild forest left, man.
Yeah. And that comes by way of deforestation, where Esau is constantly going to these lands, chopping down all the trees, and trees help the oxygen supply to Earth. What is that? They inhale carbon dioxide and I think produce oxygen, something to that.
Yeah, that's right.
And we do the exact opposite. So we work hand in hand, but Esau is going to these different lands and just chopping up all the trees.
All for the sake of money.
All for the sake of putting another neighborhood or apartment complex in. You know, all for the sake of putting amusement parks or a bar. You know,
paper.
Or, you know, just dumb things that are not even needed, or a stadium. You know, arena for a gladiatorial event or something. You know, to that effect. You know, but I got a precept. You have something?
I got something real quick.
Okay, you can bring it up.
This 1 John 5 and 19. And we know that we are of the Most High, and the whole world lieth in wickedness. Yeah, so basically going into I mean, that just hits the nail on the head. You know, the earth is lying and wickedness, and just like the brothers went into how basically they're trying to say you need more than one earth to be able to sustain living. You know, which that's an issue. You know, now why does the earth lieth in wickedness? Is because of Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. So, you know, like the scriptures also say, it is given to one that is unprofitable. You know, so Esau is unprofitable, man. You know, he doesn't take care of the earth. He doesn't, because he doesn't keep the laws. You know, he doesn't do any of these things, man.
The land Sabbath.
Yeah, the land Sabbath. Yeah. All these different things, you know. So who is to blame? And you know what's funny is the so-called white man, he loves to blame it on the people. Like, for instance, how, you know, maybe 10 or 15 years back, you had Bill Gates, I think. He was trying to basically start up this whole green movement and what they call it, what's that with the sun? Global warming.
Global warming, yeah.
You know, so they were over this whole green movement, but they were trying to basically blame it on the people and say that people are they consume too much. And, you know, the planet, you know, going to waste is the people's fault, which really is not. Because who is the one that produced these who's the producer? You got to look at who's the producer, which is the so-called white man.
That's right.
You know,
it's a producer-consumer relationship, and Esau produces the minds of these people to think how they think. You know, that's why they're known as governments. Governments, in most cases, produce thoughts to the people. The word government means to rule over your mind, and they've taught the people to always be in a state of needfulness, to be in a state of dependence instead of thinking, I would say, independent. And knowing how to coexist with the different organisms around. Everybody has a mentality of, you know, smash and crush. Anything you see, if it's a deer that comes in your neighborhood, you know, somebody wants to shoot it down or get it out the area or anything, instead of, you know, actually realizing, you know, this might be the habitat of this animal. You know, most people want to kill it. You know, that's how. That's the initial reaction when you see something that's foreign. Say, for instance, it's a foreign bug in your household. The first reaction is to kill it, you know, and that's how people have been conditioned and taught to think.
Because that's how Esau thinks.
So when Esau even goes to these different lands, they just go and destroy. They're not looking to keep things safe. And if they do keep it and capture it, what do? They put it in a zoo. These different animals, which is zoos all over the place, man. There's zoos state by state. There's zoos all over the goddamn place. And we, you know, went to a zoo years ago. And you see those animals, they look dead. Yeah. It's not like they're actually having a good time, you know, actually exhilarating or exhorting their full force and pushing out their full energy. They're in a box, you know. It might look kind of large to you because it's bigger than your apartment or your house, you know, but it's a box to them. These animals, you know, look like right now, you know, we have a world map, and, you know, you have the Amazon region, you know, you look at these different parts from a bird's eye view on the different, you know, it'll show the geography of like South America, North America. You see nothing but trees. Though a lot of those lands was occupied by just animals, and a lot of those should be taken care of by animals. It's good for animals to have their environments because they take care of, like I said before, the land, certain greenery. Certain people would actually have, like the Gadites, they would have certain relationships with the animals. And they would know how to maneuver through certain villages or I would say certain forests to get certain plants. Right. You know, because the plants is going to thrive. The animals are going to make sure that these different things are not touched and they're taken care of. You see, everything was in balance. And they could leave and they would come back and it's still the plants or whatever type of you know, substance that they desire. Yep, it would constantly reproduce because all animals are playing off of each other, and they have a way of even killing each other to keep the harmony amongst themselves. So it's not too many of this, not too many predators, not too many prey. You see, everything was designed to work in its particular peculiar balance. But Esau, being the massive, you know, harbinger of death that he is, he just kills everything from predator to prey to organisms to species that actually are essential.
You know, even to the point where he harms himself. Because that, just like that saying, you make your bed, you got lay in it. So the same world Esau has to live in the same world that he's destroying. Now, what sense does that make? Just like the brother said, how Gad will basically, refrain from certain areas because basically it's about sustaining. Now, are you willing to just destroy things, destroy something that can potentially bring you life forever, just for a couple dollars?
Right.
You know, that's how you know he's the devil.
Yeah.
You know, you got it.
And I got this. Were you done with that?
Yeah, I was done with that.
Okay, yeah, and I have this article I wanted to go into. It's under ecowatch.com. It goes into the what's the word? The ecosystem. Basically it gives a layout of what's going on in the world before us as far as the ecosystem goes. But it's under Sea and Ice. It says climate crisis is causing a deadly virus to spread amongst marine animals. Yeah, so these different animals are being sickened. They're actually catching viruses. They're catching STDs. I seen a video a couple weeks, or not weeks, but months back. The Elder Yashwamba did a lesson on how turtles are catching herpes, man.
Yeah, they're catching herpes. They got the turtles getting straws stuck in their nostrils, so where they can't breathe.
Yeah, certain animals is catching gonorrhea and things like that. Like how the hell is? First off, they're aquatic animals, so the water supply should be enough to always clean them. You know, water is a hard environment, especially with the proper pH, to get sick in, especially to that degree. But how the hell is they catching these street diseases?
Right.
You know, sexually transmitted diseases that we know that was created in a laboratory. Because Esau's the poisonous food supplies and the things that he's actually, people's diarrhea and all these different things, they put it in the water.
Condoms.
Yeah. And
Oh yeah. We're gonna do a part 2.